In today's video, I'll be talking on where to park and where not to park in the UK. A friend of mine called me up today that he went out to get something in the shop. Before, when he came back, he found out that there was a PCN penalty charge notice on his car. So he now found out that he parked wrongly. So he called me, he was confused. He called me and asked me, look at what happened, that he parked on the long yellow line, that he never knew that parking on the yellow line is an offense, that he thought that it wasn't an offense. So I now asked him if he checked if there was any signage, any notice on the period when to park on such lines. He said he didn't check. And I know that that's where the challenge or the problem, the fault came from. In this video, we'll be talking on-road parking and off-road parking to enable you know where and where not to park. Before I go further, I want to thank all my current subscribers, returning subscribers, those that have been with us, and those that intend to be with us. If you find this video interesting, please do not fail to like, subscribe, drop your comments on the comment box, share your views with us, ask your questions. We'll be able to respond to you, because without you, this video will not be possible. Let's dive into it. The best place to park would definitely be a car park. In UK, we have two types of parks. We have the private parks and we have the council parks. The private parks are the parks where you have to pay a token when you park your car, depending on the hours you want to stay. Staying 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, as the case may be. Why the council parks are the parks that are completely free. You don't have to pay anybody to park your car there. One thing you have to know about parking in a park, yeah. When you park in, make sure that you park properly in the bay designated for cars. Do not park across the lines or in between the lines. Make sure your car is positioned well in the park. Check out for signs on how to park at that particular park to avoid penalty charges. When parking in a bay, look out for signages on the floor. Some bays are meant for physically challenged persons, elderly people, people with children. Look out for such bays and don't park on them. Because when you park on them, definitely, if you are caught, you'll be given a PCN. Also look out for brown badge parking bay. Brown badge is a relatively new scheme for some councils, introduced by some councils to cater for those that have temporary physical challenges. Those that are not qualified for blue badge, they are being given a brown badge parking bay. Is to allow them get close access to where they are going to or close to their residence. Please watch out for brown badge parking space. Also, look out for restrictions on the park or parking bay or where you want to park. Some parks have some restrictions on when to park, the duration, the maximum time on where to park, not parking overnight, not parking in the morning, and when to return and when not to return. So look out for all these signs before you go into any park to leave your car properly. Let's move on to street parking. In street parking, you have free parking space, where to park and where not to park. Some bays are located on the road. These bays are meant for special purposes, like for lorries for van trying to offload and load items from a shop. Some are meant for the police, some are meant for ambulance, doctors, some are meant for club owners as well. Also come across bays where it's meant for electric car charging. Just because you have an electric car does not mean that you go and park where the electric car is being charged. Just because it's empty, there are no cars there. No, it is meant for only charging. So once you want to charge your car, you move in there, you charge. After you finish charging, you take it off from there and park in a designated place to park. Not because you have an electric car does not warrant you to park an electric bay park because it's only meant for charging. So after charging your car, take your car off from there and park in a proper place. However, some of these road bays can be used by drivers as well, provided you are collecting items or goods from a shop. And it must be a prepaid goods. It must be goods that you've ordered for, you've prepaid, you've paid for the goods. You only come to pick the items from the designated spots. You cannot go into the shop and start buying, shopping, spend like 1 or 2 hours, and you come out and you say you want to start loading the items inside the car. No, because when you're caught, they'll ask you to provide your payment receipts to know if really you prepaid it or you just paid that, you just bought it there and paid there. So be very careful about this. You can also come across a metered bay along the road. Some of these metered bay is the ones you have to put in your coins or you pay electronically with your phone or with your card. However, one thing about this meter bay is that it cannot be topped up. For example, you've paid for 1 hour or 2 hours and you go into a shop and you find out that you have to stay longer than 2 hours or 1 hour you paid for. You cannot top up. What you have to do is to go into your car, take your car off from that place, repark it somewhere else, and pay another for another hour, depending on how long you want to stay. So be very careful of this as well. Occasionally, in between the rows of bales, you may find a single yellow line running along the road or even a double yellow line. Sometimes you may find these yellow lines just along the road where there is no boxes or even no base. When you see this type of single yellow line, you will always find a time plate that has restriction on it. These restrictions can be for any amount of hours between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. In this example, as you can see on my screen, the yellow line is enforced between the hours of 8 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. Monday to Saturday. Sundays will be free parking. The double yellow line is exactly the same as a single yellow line, but with added restriction. For example, if the council doesn't want parking until 10 p.m., then they cannot use a single yellow line because a single yellow line will be parking between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. The exact hours will be on the time plates. Usually it is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can stop on a single yellow line to pick up or drop off passengers. Furthermore, you can even load or unload. However, a word of warning, watch out for stripes on the curb, either single stripe or double stripes. One stripe means no loading during certain hours of the day, whereas two stripe means no loading at all. Some London councils will use red lines instead of the yellow ones. The red lines are the red routes. This basically means no parking, no stopping, not even to pick up or drop off passengers, and no loading and offloading. The double red line is exactly the same as single red line, but with some restrictions being 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. On some roads, on some red routes, you may find some bays. These bays are often near the stations, like the train station, where you are allowed to park for some minutes or some time, usually 10-15 minutes, either to drop off passenger or to wait for person arriving. Okay. If it's a fairly long road, some councils, instead of them spending money and time painting the long roads, they use the clear way zone. Start of the zone, there will be a sign, a clearway sign. It's a red circle with a red cross inside it. The clearway means no parking, no stopping, not even to pick up passengers or drop them off. The sign is in force 24/7, 247, 24 hours of the day, 7 days a week. At the start of the clearway zone, there will be a note under the sign indicating the length that it is valid for. It may say 5 miles, 10 miles, 15 miles, or 20 miles, as the case may be. Next, let's take a look on parking on zigzag lines. In the UK, we have two types of zigzag lines. We have the white ones and the yellow ones. The yellow zigzags are often found outside schools. However, you may occasionally see them outside a hospital, fire station, or even a police station. Whenever you see the yellow zigzags, it's always be accompanied by a time plate. Parking stopping on the zigzag is strictly prohibited during the time stated on the plates. Take note of this. These are the hours the children are either coming to school or going home and want to cross the road. So you have to make sure you're not parking on the yellow lines because it's the time the children either they are closing or they are going home. The white zigzag lines are found when you're approaching a pedestrian crossing, whether it's a uncontrolled white lines like the zebra crossing or the controlled ones like the pelican crossing where you have the amber lights. Unlike the yellow zigzag, you will not find a time plate here. The white zigzags are enforced 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. No parking, no stopping, not even to pick up or drop off passengers, not even for 1 second. If you park on the white zigzag, it's not just a fine, you even get a penalty points deducted from your license. So you have to watch out very careful. Let's also look at parking outside somebody's house. Here in the UK, homeowners do not have a legal right to park outside their house, which means that anybody can park outside somebody's house outside, but not directly on their drive in and drive out exits. However, you need to take into consideration any parking restrictions that are enforced and also drop curbs. If I was to park here, I will block the entrance to this drive. It makes no difference whether there is a car in the driveway or not. I'm not allowed to park blocking somebody's drive due to drop curbs. Talking about drop curbs, you're not allowed to park here either. You may be thinking, well, there is no driveways. Why is the drop curb there? Well, it's for wheelchair users and for parents with prams and pushchairs. Many of these residential roads in the UK are quite narrow, and as a result, you will occasionally see other drivers parking on the pavement. One more thing I want to say about UK parking. When you're parking, ask yourself, is it legal or is it safe to park on this spot? You can't just see a space close to the junction and you want to park your car. The UK law states that you must keep at least 10 meters gap from the junction. You know, UK roads are relatively narrow. So if a car is parked along the road and you want to park, you cannot just come and park opposite the car. If you obstruct the flow of traffic, you literally have to move ahead, look for a convenient place to park, not to obstruct traffic. So you have to watch where you park your car to avoid any PCN because nobody wants to spend the money he didn't plan for, he didn't budget for. So I advise you, wherever you have to park, you have to watch very well, check your left, check your right, check the signages, take restrictions along where you're parking to avoid any PCN. If you find this video helpful or interesting to you, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up, share it to somebody that might need it. Drop your comments in the description box below. Tell us your view, what you think, and other advice you want to give to others that might read the comments. See you in my next video.